Chris DeGray. I closed on my house on September 9th and started looking for a house around end of July. The reason I started looking for one was because my roommates just were under contract on a house. So knew I was going to need to start looking for something soon because I wasn't sure when they would close and also when we decide to end the lease. And I was looking for an agent and they had rave reviews for Lori, so I decided to go with her too. And through the journey, she was really helpful, especially as a first-time home buyer, being able to really help me on the journey, especially I didn't really have a knowledge of anything of this before. So it was really helpful to have somebody to talk me through the process as a true professional and someone that knows what they're doing and being able to guide me and make sure that I'm making the right decision for myself and what fit my needs, which was really helpful in kind of guiding me through the whole process from searching through once I was under contract and everything, and then also all the way through closing, being able to really help through every single step of the way and feeling like it was more like a partnership and kind of going along that journey. I would highly recommend Lori to anyone that I know that either needs to sell a house or is in the market for looking for a house. I always highly recommend her because she's not like other realtors where with her you're really getting someone that's a partner and someone that's going to guide you along the process. It didn't feel like a business transaction or anything at any point. It felt like you had like a friend there that was ready to help you and actually listen to you and make sure that everything that you got that you needed, which especially as a first-time home buyer was really helpful and really necessary, that you really wanted somebody that was that you felt like was really had your back through the whole entire process, which is what I really needed, especially as a first-time home buyer, because it's a whole other language when you're first going into it, because it's so different than leasing an apartment to go into a house, and you really need somebody that's able to guide you through and make sure you really understand what you're getting into, and also understanding everything you need for a house, like with location, what you need in it, and really being able to work through, get the perfect home for you that fits all of those boxes, and also being able to go in a house and tell you what would need to be fixed, what you're kind of getting into, and the commitment that would be in the house too once you move in, and how much money that you would need to invest in it, if any, or like if it was small things that needed to be changed or whatnot. And it was really helpful as a first-time home buyer being able to have that and have somebody be able to tell you everything that, for my eyes, I wouldn't be able to spot in a house. But for her, she was able to tell me every single thing that I would need to know, that I would be going into the house and feeling fully prepared. Oh, not at all. She was always available, and she was always there to call and be able to answer my questions right away, and gave me good and detailed answers to everything, and always had her ear open for anything that I needed. And going through the whole process, I never felt confused in that sense or anything, because I knew I had somebody that would be able to answer everything I needed and where I'd feel secure with going forward. Yeah, with Tammy too, it was really helpful, because not just with Lori, but the whole Team Gabriel team. And with Tammy, she was really helpful through the process, where once after I was under contract and everything, Tammy really gave me a lot of resources and everything that I was able to look at and utilize for like the home inspection, also getting like electric, water, the lawyer, all of that. She was really able to help and get all of my questions answered with that, and send me a lot of useful resources about that type of stuff too, with a whole bunch of people that Team Gabriel would recommend as people that you guys have worked with before, which made it really easy, because obviously being in an apartment, like for someone like a lawyer, like I've never really needed that before. So something like that, it was really helpful just to have a list of people that was recommended where I could look at one and choose it from there. And for me too, even with like electric and water and stuff, like a lot of that stuff like water was the apartment took care of, and a lot of the electric and stuff, they already kind of had a very set company that it needed, but like having the options, it was good to have somebody that could kind of explain my options for me so I can make actually an educated decision on what I want. She provided me a lot of lists and resources to my email, and with plenty of ample time too, because for me, by the time I had probably about a little over a month before my closing date, and she gave them to me right away so I could kind of set up everything, and I never felt like I was rushing to get everything done. I had ample time to be able to go through everything, look through the resources, choose people, set up all the appointments. That also worked with my work schedule and everything too. And then if I had any questions, she was always a call away where I could give her a call and ask her about anything and make sure that things were set up, and make sure everything worked with Lori's schedule too, so that she'd be able to come there with me for home inspections and stuff like that too. So she gave me all these resources that were really helpful, and also helped with any questions I had too. With her, I was able to have all the resources and all of the knowledge that I knew exactly what I was getting into, and there was going to be no surprises or anything, which is really good and what you want when going into a house, because you don't want sudden surprises or something that you wouldn't have looked at because you were rushed into it, and you had more of the time to really think through the process and make the right decision for yourself. Which is good, because she gave me that time to be able to have all the resources I needed, get all the questions I needed answered before I made that decision. That's what I really liked. I never felt like I was pushed or anything. And then with looking at houses or anything too, I felt like I had plenty of time to go through them. And I looked through plenty of houses beforehand too, and I never felt rushed in the process. I always felt like she was there to support my decision and wanted me to find the house for me. She didn't want me to rush into a house that wouldn't have been one that would have fit me, or a house that wasn't a good decision. And she would tell me right away she didn't think the house would be a good fit, or if there was something about it that she knew would require a lot of maintenance or a lot of work. She didn't want me to have something that she didn't think I'd want to deal with in that regards too, which is really helpful. And with looking for a house, it's one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make too. So that's why you don't want to be pushed into that decision, which is really helpful with having someone like Lori that's more guiding you through the process and not pushing you along or trying to rush you. When going through the process, you need to make sure to give yourself ample time and make sure to really look at all your options and not make a rash decision, because it's the biggest one you'll make. And when going with someone, you really need to make sure you have someone that gives you that time to really look at everything, which is what Lori did for me, and that doesn't push you along. Because if it's someone that's trying to push you along and rush you to make that sale, that's not the right person you want to go with. That's why I really enjoyed going with Lori, because I never felt like that, and I wouldn't want someone else to have that feeling. I want someone to have the same experience I did, which was a very good experience where I never felt rushed, and to make that right decision for them. I think just the last thing is, for me, if you're going to go and buy a house, I would say the perfect person to go with is Lori and Team Gabriel. So that would just kind of be my own final thoughts there.